Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Yeah, my friend Jimmy just came over. We spent the night playing our role playing games. We played Villains and Vigilantes. I'm sure we'll see some Villains Vigilante stuff in the stack, and I'll talk about it when we get there. But I used that rule set. Oh, let me get rid of. Nobody else is here. We don't need to see this. It's just covering up my beautiful, beautiful face. So we 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 used the Villains and Vigilantes rules for all scenarios. So we played like a Dungeons and Dragons scenario, and it was awkward because we haven't played in that setting in over a year. So we had a website, a forum, the Villains and Vigilantes forum, and for 25 years we would post all the little scenario. Like after we played, we'd write up the stories, kind of like an ongoing chronicle of our adventures. But it was getting to be every year. It was getting more and more expensive to maintain that because it was just old coding, and it was just Frankenstein together. So we just pulled this. It was like $500, like for the latest maintenance fee. So we said nah. So we're looking at other options. My friend Paul saved all the information. So long story short, I didn't have access to the notes, so it was rough. We had to get back in. So now Jimmy's gonna write up his stories every night, keep notes, and then take a picture of them, send them to me so we can keep playing. But that has nothing to do with any of this. So Jimmy is moving. So we want to finish up some of these stories. He's moving to South Carolina. New York is his new job is allowing him to work from home full time. So there's no reason for him to stay in New York. I'll miss my buddy Jimmy. He's moving to North Carolina or South Carolina. I forget where his sister is. And he'll be keeping his New York pay, working from home. That's good for him. Selling a brand new house. You'll have no bills. Awesome. A little jealous, actually. So we're going to try to finish up all our stories before he goes. But he's cleaning out his house. So he dropped off this huge stack of D&D and role playing and stuff. So let's check out what I got. It's Christmas time over here. It's Christmas in Long Island. So first off, let's check out, Fund My Comics. You can still get Heroic Tales available there at Fund My Comic. It is in demand. Daniel he said he's going to send me the last pages by tomorrow. Then it's the whirlwind tour to get this thing printed and shipped. I already called up my editor and said, stand by. I want to make up for lost time. So she was like, you got it. Glad to help. And then it's open invite. If anybody wants to pop in, I'll star this. So if anybody wants to talk role-playing games with me. Kojo, greetings from Raleigh, North Carolina. So Jimmy, you might be able to play with Jimmy. Encyclopedia Magica. My favorite D&D is still the old basic set from 1978. Simplicity is beautiful. Yeah, I remember that. I heard that too. That AI is going to be used in the new D&D editions. They're using it for art, as far as I know. I don't know if they're using it to generate rules and things like that. So this is the Volume 4 Encyclopedia Magica. This was just the first thing I pulled off. So this is just spells. And I'm looking through these the first time. Literally, we were playing. So what year is this? $25. Wow. What year is this? 1999. This is definitely after I stopped buying stuff. So what is this? A teleportation. So it's not just spells. It's also magic items, I guess. I don't know. I didn't even look through this yet. But there you go. This is kind of boring and not a lot of pictures. That's kind of creepy. So there you go. That's the Encyclopedia Magica, Volume 4. So what is this? Ah, this is cool. What is this? TSR? I don't know, but it's pretty cool looking. It's like a spell book. So, Encyclopedia Magica Accessory. What year is this? I don't even know. Anybody want to come in? Dust of Disappear. Oh, so this is just like all magic item stuff. So this is old. To me, it's new school, but this is old school D&D stuff. Just check out this art. Dust of Forgetfulness. Leech Dust. The art it's kind of sparse in this. Incubalum. I don't know what this is. I got to go through these. Literally, I've had them in my house for only a few hours. Not a lot of art in it. This is cool. That's cool art. 651 pages so far. Wow. Wow, you get your money's worth out of this. A lot of man, I know that if I was a kid, I would have look at this. It's got a bookmark. I would have spent forever reading that. What is this? Oh, another one of these Encyclopedia Magic accessory. Another accessory? Is this the same one? No, but it's blue. Oh, so this is potions, I guess. Potions and pens. Oh wow. I mean, you could go broke buying D&D stuff, right? So let's bring this up a little bit. And, oop, this is, there we go. Look at that. Look, this is like, it's like an old Bible. Look at this. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. The only thing is about this is there's not a lot of art. I mean, D&D, it's all about the art too. As much as you want. I'm not. Be realistic. I got no time to read this anymore. You know, going back to the airport on Monday. Back to waking up at 4 in the morning. Dungeon Magazine, 1999, issue 76. Survival in the Great White North, Island of Eternal Night. Check this out. Garfield's Bizarre Adventures. Only D&D campaign I played is 5e. Last I played was 2nd edition. I played a one-shot of an early edition as a wizard. Now, that was a challenge. What did you play when you weren't the wizard? Look at this. Look at this. Cool old school trolls over here. It's funny to think of 1999 as old school. Look at that. Pretty cool. Sellers. Just, oh, I got excited. I thought there was an envelope in there. I was like, oh, cool. I get some money from Jimmy. What is this? New magical items. Elemental Plane of Ice. I love maps. Northern Caloria. Barbarian Woman. The Halls of Frost. So I guess this is all. Who are these? 7 deadly foes dwell in the icy caverns beneath the Halls of Frost. So ice chicks over here. Don't want to fight the ice chicks. What is this? Dungeons and Dragons, Rage of the Rakshasa. So this is a module for levels 2 to 4. Dungeons and Dragons official. So what edition is this? Oh wow, this has got to be old school. Cardboard cutouts. Wow. Paper. Oh, this is old school. What year is this? 1993. Rage. Wow, check this out. This is pretty cool. Rakshasas have always been one of my favorite monsters. Where's the art? Yeah, I got to look up the real mythology of Rakshasas, whatever they're called, the Daimyo's palace. So I guess I always thought Rakshasas were Indian, but a Daimyo is Japanese. I don't know. What do I know? Pretty cool. That is old school. What is this big old book? Ooh, creepy. Palladium Books presents the complete role-playing game, Night Spawn. I have no idea what this is. Anybody see this before? I got no idea what this is. I mean, I know what Palladium Books is, but a role-playing game? Violence and the Supernatural. The fictional world of Night Spawn is one of horror, violence, and brutality, as well as heroics and triumph. It is filled with supernatural monsters and dimensional beings, often referred to as demons, many of whom torment, stalk, and prey on humans, other alien life forms, monsters, angels, gods, and demigods, as well as magic and the paranormal. Please note that none of us are planning to condone or encourage the occult, the practice of magic, the use of drugs, or violence. Wow. So this, oh, that is freaky. Bet you she's popular on prom night. 1995. First printing. I have no idea. I've never seen this before. Oh, we got a comment. Kapesh Uthal. Good news. It only took 5 clicks for my touchpad to figure out I was right-clicking, not left-clicking. Cool. Oh, it looks like we got a Dungeons & Dragons person. How you doing? I typically played as a sorcerer. I love using meta magic and twinning haste spells, but I also the Divine Soul subclass, getting access to both the sorcerer. See, that sounds so complicated to me. The only subclass that I could think of was like druids were a subclass of cleric, and paladins were a subclass of fighter, and rangers, I guess, were a subclass of fighter, and then there was illusionist subclass of magic user. That was it. And then a bard was its own thing. Bards were weird. Still don't like bards. I see no use for a bard in an adventuring party. And it's funny. That's whenever I talk to people about role-playing games, that's like my first question. How much do you hate bards? Cool art. Arkham, who's doing my mythological story, would he should be drawing art for these role-playing games. Look at that. That's pretty cool. America After Dark Day. So this is pretty cool. It was this looks like it's like its own scenario and rules and monsters, so like this is like all you need. Like if you bought like Forgotten Realms or Ravenloft, they were like their own worlds, like within. Yeah, Kapesh, a bard was its own thing in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons First Edition, and I think Second Edition. Bards were their own thing. They were like a weird thing, like monks. In Dungeons & Dragons, I don't even think there were bards. But to be a bard, you had to be a thief. You started out as a thief. And then I think you had to go become a wizard or a magic user. And then you became a bard. So by the time you were a first level bard, you were like playing for a while because you were 3 other class. It was a really weird thing. It just didn't make its own I don't think it was fleshed out too well. Yeah, I'll get the rule, the player's handbooks, So I know I'm misremembering it. But that's freaky. So enough with. I got so much to show. So let's just spin through some of this art. The Underground Railroad, the Lightbringers, the Spook Squad. Oh, that is pretty cool. Creepy looking woman. How to play a role-playing game. What the hell is that? Freaky deaky. Oh, that's pretty cool. Optional damage rules. So this is, demons and angels, I guess. That's what this looks like. Insanity. Demons and angels. A werewolf. It looked like a unitard. That's pretty funny. Modern weapon combat. Yeah. All right, enough with this book. The Night Spawn. So I can't really speak on it. I don't know what it is too much. All right, so here we got Mindworks, Palladium books. So this looks like a psionic. So Palladium had I think it was GURPS, genetic role-playing system. And then they had all these scenarios that you could just plug into it. And they had superheroes. They had like psionics, I guess they'd call it cyberpunk and then steampunk. Warning: violence and the supernatural. So it's the same. This is the same warning. That's pretty cool. Mindworks. For more accurate. Okay, so this is a source book for extension of Rifts. Okay. So this is an extension for Rifts. This looks pretty cool. Look at this. Mom technology. The truth behind mind works. It looks like every character from early Image. That's pretty cool. The Angel of Vengeance. Marsalis Santos. The typical human technician. Mom technology. Who could get mom implants? I make riffs too when I eat Brussels. When I eat Brussels sprouts. There you go. Cynetics. This doesn't interest me that much. You know, I like to. Oh, that's pretty crazy looking. I like to data mine these books to come up with adventures and stuff like that. But that's about it. That's cool. Looks like the '90s cartoon Gargoyles. Enough for that book. Mutants in Orbit. Oh, what do we got here? The first character I played was a barbarian named Chief Brijak, a tribesman from the north who decided to travel with the spice merchants named Marco and Polo to Baldur's Gate and become a chef. That's fun. Did you ever become a chef? Was your a quest to become a chef? Did it work? 1992, 1983. What awaits you in Orbit? Mutants in Orbit is the first of the After the Bomb books to be designed specifically for use with 3 other Palladium RPGs: Rifts, Heroes United, and our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, there you go. So you can play this with all of those. Oh, cool. Does it have like spaceships and stuff? I want to see spaceships. Big rat guy. A bear making a force field. Let's speed this up. Earth with broken debris around it. Not a lot of art. Oh, we got it. What do we got there? What are we looking at? Put your pants on.
No, not quite that comfortable.
How you doing, Arkham? Did your ears burn? Did you hear me mention you?
No, I was I saw you went live and I'm like, is he doing role playing games? Ran over, so yeah.
Because I was showing some. I mean, I just started. I'm only 20 minutes in. First off, man, you're losing weight fast.
It's a good thing and a negative thing. I'll tell you in private something.
Okay. Well, I went for my yearly checkup today, and when the doctor walks in and she goes, "You look good." Like, that's what you want to hear from your doctor.
I mean, I don't have to tell you in private. It's not a big deal. I just I'm taking a couple of days off work. I've had pretty high blood pressure.
Oh, geez, sorry to hear it.
Yeah, it goes around and you just feel like intense all the time. You know what I mean? It's annoying.
Well, I lost my last checkup, which was a year and 5 days ago. I was 17 pounds heavier.
Nice.
But then I was, coming off the broken neck, being a potato in my house. You know what I mean? That was I can't say the heaviest I've ever been, because I was 350 pounds back in 1999. No, 2003.
Yeah, I got up there too. Like from where you first met me to where I am now. I mean, other than the high blood pressure, all my other readings, everything's coming out like cherries, so that's fine.
Good for you.
I'm 35 pounds down.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. There you go. You probably like this. The Monsters Compendium Annual Volume 3, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay. You want a low res sneak peek at page 2?
Sure. I must have hit this camera. Let me stop this extra camera and re-add it.
Remember, low res.
I'm sorry. I was too busy thinking about this. What did you say?
Oh. I said, did you, because there's people watching, did you want a sneak peek, a low res sneak peek?
Oh, sure. Always. I love your art. Nice. Oh.
So that's where she's asleep with the foot out and the tentacle coming over there, and you can see the moonlight lancing over as it's trying to go over there. As it gets closer, it starts becoming a little bit more like a real hand reaching out onto her. And then there he goes, reaching for the gun, turn around, shoot.
Spoiler alert, that's the Shoggoth.
Yep. And I'm gonna have it actually reaching out of the panel like it's crawling into you guys.
That is great. That is great.
Yeah, I like the mood lighting right here. I thought that turned out really well.
Cool. So. For those of you who don't know what Arkham is talking about, he's drawing one of my. Oh, I don't want that. Nobody needs to see my face that big. Arkham is drawing one of my stories and one of my superhero characters. And yes, they meet a Shoggoth. I told you guys, my comic book is superheroes, Dungeons and Dragons meets H.P. Lovecraft, and I think the story that Arkham is it's a triangle. Superheroes, for the most part, superheroes is the biggest angle, and then like it's too small. But this story is like H.P. Lovecraft and Dungeons and Dragons, and then superheroes is the smallest of the three angles. But it all equals up to what is it? All triangles are 180 degrees. Is that
right?
It? Right. Or three. I forget.
Something towards that nature.
Yeah, something like that. But yes, there's a Shoggoth in that story, and the Shoggoth in Greek mythology is I can never pronounce this. Just you read the story.
The 100-handed ones.
The 100-handed ones, the Hecadia Shires. So I was just like, they really don't have 100 hands. They just have as many hands as they need. So do Shoggoths. So
it's kind of like the Hotep name. It's just like kind of let it diarrhea out of your mouth and make it sound halfway decent. People will understand what you're talking about.
Right. So Kepesh says, I was thinking of the Turtles in a Time video game.
Great game.
In space, it says space where no turtle has gone before, but the audio at the time made it sound like garbage where no turtle has gone before. Person holding a pencil. Ojo always makes me talk like a robot. He was trained on, Garfield's talking about his character. He was trained under Chef Boyardee. He had a Kenku rival chef named Kid Cuisine, and he hated it. That was my backstory. I played the Curse of Strahd module. So I'm talking to everybody at Arkham, anybody in the chat. If anybody wants to pop in, I'll put the invite in here. Remember, it's always more fun to talk to people. Mm-hmm. So did your DMs allow you to make up your backstories? And if so, did you go Berserkowitz making up backstories?
Well, being an older player, we had different mindsets, especially back in the 70s and 80s and up even into the 90s. And that's when things kind of seemed to change a little bit. Back then, it was you were a part of an ambiance. You were a group, right? You had this group mentality. It was your group, and everybody, of course, wanted the pole position, their coolness a little bit, right? But generally, we let the DM do what the DM wanted to do. We were along for the ride because we generally, back then, because there's so few of us, it wasn't like it is today where you can find a DM around the corner, and players, you shake your pants and players will just fall out. It wasn't like it back then. You had to find each other.
Right. So and you had to risk ridicule.
Oh, absolutely. But it's absolutely hilarious. You'd find guys from the football team secretly playing D&D.
I was on the football team secretly playing D&D. I lived, it's kind of an asshole thing now that I think about it as an adult, but I was in fear of the football guys learning that I was into comic books and D&D. And then one day they just came over to take me to a party. I was like being kidnapped. My father's like, hey, he's upstairs. So I'm laying in my bed, Daredevil comics all over. And they just come in. Like, hey, John, I'm like, oh my God. They're like, oh, I love Daredevil. They're like, oh yeah, I love the X-Men. And I'm like, oh, I've been living in fear of this moment, and it was no big deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
It happens quite often, We let fear kind of
right. Well,
guide our decision before anything.
Immature high school kids. So I want to address Kojo. Is there eldritch horror in Greek mythology? Well, I mean, think about it. You had Typhon rising,
right.
And,
the party of
chaos. Yeah. I always think of the Titans as Titans are like abstract. So think like Hyperion is basically the light. Nyx is the dark.
You got Chronos, which is time.
Right, time, and if you in Saturn, the Roman version of Chronos, Saturn is basically gravity. So like all of these are abstract concepts. These are like primordial concepts that and then the gods came. In my mind, the gods were the first mortal, not mortal, but flesh and blood.
Right.
because
I
they
think when he's talking Eldritch, I think
right,
he's talking more of Gaia and Tartarus and the even ancient beings older than even the Titans.
right.
I think that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, so I like I'm always trying to look at things from a different perspective.
Yeah, man.
Wait do you see dragons? If I make enough comic books and actually do my dragon story, you'll see how I view dragons.
I don't think you're not going to be able to not do your dragon story.
Well,
I mean,
I mean,
all roads lead, right?
you're putting skeletal dragons in that, but I have a full on dragon story. You know, someday I'll get there. Tentatively, it's going to be Patriarch number 3. Let's hope it. H.P. Lovecraft may have been a bizarre dude, but he had a brilliance and imagination. Yeah. There you go. If anybody wants to pop in, my first characters had goofy backstories, but as I got more experienced with it, I took a bit more seriously. I played with the group for 3 years every Tuesday, multiple campaigns. Oh, that sounds great. That
Hey,
sounds
Garfield, I would suggest maybe there's a couple documentaries you can find on Lovecraft about his upbringing and why he is the way he is. It was not a good childhood. It
no.
was not a good childhood.
No. Bane dead. Ariana. But sometimes in Dungeons and Dragons, they just like they
Especially,
just make things just to make things. Is there really do you really need what is really the difference between a mummy and a lich? You know what I mean? Like one's just Egyptian kind of thing, or you know what I mean? Like
yeah, no, I agree, and especially when you get into the later monster manuals, that's when things get really kind of obscure.
This is cool, like a rhino stegosaurus kind of guy. I really dig this. This is cool. It's funny because in I was saying before you got here, me and my buddies we use the village vigilante roles. Oh, Bunyip, this I was like obsessed with this creature when I was a little kid. I read a book of Australian monsters, the Aborigine monsters, and Bunyip was in it. But anyway, we played like a Dungeons Dragons, and I came up with a solution of why there's so many wacky monsters, and I don't want to tell it because it might turn into a heroic tale story someday. But like, it made sense for me. A chosen one. What it's that's what Jews look like in Dungeons and Dragons.
I think a different chosen one.
A coffer corpse. Oh man, something about that freaks me out because it's a real.
That Scorpion has had better days.
This is so these are in the Dungeons and Dragons. A Cerulean dragon. What is that? A dragon ghost. Oh, it looks like a shark drowning because it has trinas tied to its fin. Well, after all, the dragons are supreme beings. Yeah. I I don't want to spoil it, so I'm just going to say, yeah, a dread warrior.
Just like even all like super devolved dragons, they're still a menace. So can you imagine what a super evolved dragon would be like?
A dream spawn. That is cool looking. That is just cool looking. Oh, so these are dreams. A dream weaver. Sorry, I can't see my own comments either. Oh, it's okay, cool. You're commenting. That's fine. You're participating.
Yeah.
A dryad, a hamadryad. A dwarf.
A what dryad?
Hamadryad. That's the Greek spirits of the trees.
Right.
There's a couple of ways to look at them. I believe it or not, I want to have a superhero character that's a dryad. A dwarf. A giant moray eel. Did you know that Arkham, that when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's a moray?
That is, but it's a giant moray.
Yeah, well, it's a big pizza pie. A tome guardian. An elf rock seer. Like some of these things, like who cares? Like how many freaking elves do you need? An effic.
I think Robot Chicken did a skit, and it really does explain books like these.
Right.
They just grab a roulette and just throw darts at it.
Right.
That's dragon, very,
gargoyles.
The joke in Robot Chicken was they were doing that for who was a Cylon. All right, who's the Cylon this week? Roll the roulette.
It looks like a woman mating with a tree. You ain't too far from the truth if you read Greek.
It is a nymph. Yeah.
Maybe it's an arbor nymph.
Yeah, that looked like an arbor nymph. Just a different tree than an arbor tree.
A Shibboleth golem, a hag boor, the hound of ill omen.
Speaking of hag, sounds like it was going to be a really good story. It's not. But I showed.
Let me tell the joke so I can continue to.
Yeah. Sorry.
We've all been in the bar past closing time and got some arcane head, right?
Yeah, and sometimes they went home with you.
And then it was a hound of ill omen. But anyway, tell your story.
I was watching YouTube and I was going through maybe a movie to watch. I was talking to my son. I just looked at him. I was like, "Hey, have I ever showed you the absolute best depiction of a hag ever in any cinema?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "It looks like a troll, but it is a hag." And I showed him Legend, Meg Mucklebones.
Oh, that's what Legend. That's what Tom Cruise and Michelle Pfeiffer and Tim Curry as the devil.
Yep.
It's funny. We were just talking about Tim Curry tonight when we were playing our. We had a really weird role-playing adventure.
If it involves Tim Curry, sounds like a fun one.
Well, I don't know how he came up, but my friend Jimmy had a character named Thorn, and Thorn was the thief of the group, and he was very. He played him very materialistically. He was always manipulating. Like he would not backstab the group, but they would send him down into the treasure hoard and he would pocket what he wanted and come back up and like, yeah, just this. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Like he always had all the good stuff on him. But at the same time, he paid attention to the story lore. So he was always good with solutions. But anyway, I told you this group fell apart over COVID. We just stopped playing. So the last time that group played, that superhero group, the city was under siege, and they were just like superheroes. Like they were jumping off they were surrounded by orcs, and orcs in my game are holy terrors. Do you ever see Bone Tomahawk?
Yes.
Those are orcs. Okay?
Yeah.
So you don't want to get captured by them. So people are. I mean, at the risk of getting myself in trouble, people will commit suicide. People were lighting their families on fire rather than get captured. So they were just fighting and fighting and fighting. And then the fairies, they live on the other side of the river. There's a treaty between, and the Fae is not to be confused with the elves. These are different races. The Fae are something different. The elves are something, and elves are total isolationists in my world. And so the humans are being attacked by orcs. Everybody hates the orcs. The fairies show up with cavalry. My party's crew held them off long enough. They saved the day. Everybody's celebrating. Everybody's happy. And then while everybody's partying, the Fae tried to kill the party. They want all the credit. So they're like, they didn't see it. Jimmy saw it coming. He was reading all the signs, and he was like, he was literally packing up and ready to leave the town during the middle.
Were they like intentionally getting people way too drunk?
Right, and they didn't want that. And they never left the town. They broke the treaty, crossed the river and control this town. Why? Because it was a good smithy town, so they have human smiths because the Fae can't deal with iron. Right. So now they have basically an oppressed group that'll make iron weapons for them and stuff like that because they can't deal with iron for reasons that I will not disclose. But
well, I mean, cold iron.
Let me finish this. So Jimmy's group, they literally run into the Temple of Selene for sanctuary, and that's where we stopped. I said this is a good stopping point. We doled out the experience points, and then we never played again. So that Jimmy was like, I want to continue that story. He's the only one out of the group that, me and him are the same age. We've been friends. Everybody else is 20 years younger than us. They're like, we're not going out until there's masks, until there's a vaccine for COVID. And then I'm like, I'm not taking this stupid vaccine. And then we never hung out again. That was the end of that group. So we were like, it's 10 years later. Thorn's daughter, we rolled 50-50 son or daughter, and it's his daughter Rose is looking to find any evidence of Thorn. So she's working in a pub that her brother runs, and it's a brothel. And her very favorite working girl goes missing. Her name was Posey. So she's looking for Posey, and they find out, I sent Posey down into the root cellar to get more onions. So she goes down and she finds that one of the stones was left over, and there's a tunnel underneath. Nobody knew about this, and the older brother was like, this city was built on an old city. There's horrible things down there. And he goes, I would have to level everything and rebuild to know all the secrets. He goes, but
Right.
So he's like, okay. She's like, we got to do something. He's like, you're right. I'm going to call in some dwarven smiths and close it off so that nothing. She's like, no, we got to save Posey. And he's like, she's gone. So she makes rolls and guilts him into it. And they go down to save Posey, and they find monsters down there. And Jimmy is just like Posey's gone. And I didn't expect that. So they cut their losses and went back up, fighting monsters all the way back up.
Yeah.
And
they had to fight monsters to get down there. What does a child do?
So it was. I was just like, oh man, I didn't expect it. But he's like, John, she's Thorne's daughter. We're cutting our losses, and then they hired dwarves to fill in everything, and it was like one of those adventures that goes off the rails, because I was planning for them to go down there, fight the monsters, rescue Posey, and everything like that. But Jimmy was like, "You forget who I am. I'm my father's daughter." I was like, "Oh my god!" It was like, if anybody else was playing with us, they're like, "This is a game for you guys." It was a bittersweet story. But
you know what? That's a great beginning for a villain story too.
Right. So it's not over. The story's not over.
Okay. So you guys can continue playing for a while?
Those were orcs in Bone Tomahawk. Yes, those are my orcs. Those are the models of how orcs behave. Not necessarily look, but that's how they behave. COVID was insane times. Lockdowns and masks. You're telling me. Were there monsters, or were there memory of the city before? That's a good idea. The memory of the city before the city. Kapesh, that is. Are you a dungeon master, Kapesh? And first off, Arkham, this is the first time I've ever seen Kapesh. He just came in. And this is a cool comment. Were there monsters? Okay. There's a city, and now it's what is that game? Waterdeep. You know how Waterdeep has the Underdark below? It's a ripoff of that, An owl bear. Look at that. I love owl bears. A Pegator. So it's a Pegasus centaur. That is weird.
That thing right there, I forgot what it's called because I can't see it on the image.
Oh, this?
Yeah. Those things are party wipers. Their whole species. That's what I'm thinking they are. They're ruthless. They're just monsters to deal with.
Oh.
They literally eat magic.
Kapesh is answering. Well, to be fair, I only for those who have time in their life to do a role-playing game about once every time. Yeah, when we were kids, it was like at the drop of a hat, we got a Dungeons and Dragons game or Villains Vigilantes game going. It was so much fun, As adults, we got to schedule it. We got to set aside a weekend. It usually takes 3 weeks. I understand life gets in the way. I always say the same thing. I don't have kids, so I love this dinosaur guy. If you pick the weekend, and I'll clear my schedule. Whatever I'm doing, unless there's a death in the family, I could work around it. A shard.
What else I think would be a good idea if you have a good solid party of players is if somebody has to nope out for whatever reason, have a monitor there and you just pull it up there where the person can play from home because they couldn't make it to the game. So
I tried it once to do remote Dungeons & Dragons. It's just not the same. I have a feeling that when Jimmy's in North Carolina, we'll have to do it, but it's just not the same. I don't.
Oh yeah, it's totally not the same.
I don't like it. Oh, look at that guy. All right, I'm gonna go to the next book. Rifter, your guide to the Megaverse.
Played many years of Rifts.
Yeah, I never played Rift, but Jimmy wanted to. As you can see, I'm gonna have a lot of Rift books to show. Yeah, and as adults, you let COVID stop you. Tough getting old. I know. It didn't stop me.
Didn't stop me.
I was the oldest guy in the group. It didn't stop me.
Yeah, my group stopped me from playing D&D. So it wasn't COVID. It was the people I was playing with. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out.
1998, first printing.
This system is very good. I mean, that's a beautiful page right there, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah, you should be drawn for this kind of stuff, you know?
I used to draw in one of the artists for Riffs. His name is Lang. I can mimic Lang's style. That's looks like Lang's. When you get to mechs, I'll show you some of his mechs. I'll show, and I can mimic his style pretty well because when I was growing up drawing, his work inspired a lot of me, especially how I do metallic reflections with that big. This is Lang right here, right? No, that's not Lang. That's
This is Barreau.
yeah, Burrell, and the other one is Lang. You'll see Lang when you see him.
I know you get to the store and someone's like, yeah, I walked out. I walked out of a store because they were like, "Where's your mask?" I'm like, "Oh, it's in my car with my wallet back home, never to be opened." Yeah. Yeah. Look at these are pretty cool. I like all this. Everybody's kung fu fighting.
Mm-hmm. The game was good, but they had what's called SD and MD.
Yeah, mega damage and standard damage.
Yeah, and as a DM, you really had to know how to skirt it and when to kind of ignore it because a lot of your characters would just get one-shotted by somebody doing
Yeah,
one mega damage to them.
yeah, if you're not immune to mega damage, it doesn't
You're
matter how much. Yeah, it doesn't. That's when I was showing off my characters and I was explaining like invulnerability and invincibility. You know, that's what I like about V&V. And who was it? Oh, Sandy Peterson was on the other day, and he was talking about the one time he played Villains Vigilantes, and he I guess he didn't like it too much because if you play by the exact rules, you could make the most insane characters. I like every once in a while, I'm like, we're doing it by the rules, and everybody like, ooh, that's real nerve wracking. But I created a finagle factor because it's better to have a character that fits than a character just look. He's got plant powers and flame powers, and he can teleport, and he's a spell cat. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
you want a theme. So I came up with the house rule of you could drop a power to boost another power. So I'd rather have a guy like you have 7 powers, but 3 of them are flight, so you could fly really fast and you're invulnerable. So you're cannonball rather than you could fly, dimensional travel, and breathe underwater. And
Right.
so
I always like Cannonball as a character.
yeah, me too. See, I love these kind of drawings. Yeah, I love when they draw like high tech stuff. Yeah.
My I did have this book. I went all the way up to I think Rift South America or Atlantis. I can't remember which one was before the other one, and that's when things were just getting so beyond silly with it. I was just like, I'm kind of out.
So apparently, what is this like an island or a dimension of insect people or something?
Well, Rifts is literally all across the world, but between ley lines are different dimensions, and they're constantly opening and closing and so forth. But I'm like, at any time going by these rule books, they may have changed it, but there's 15 or 16 different elder gods on Earth at one time. I'm like, this is silly. You know what I mean? They need to tone it down. Spectrum's a little too big,
What's my ideal number of players? I once played in a game with 8 players. It was a chore.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah, for the most, as a DM, I've played with about 8 players, and it was fine, but I had a couple of players that would have been a problem even if there's only 3. They didn't get it. They just didn't get it. So they made it a chore. But if it was 8 people that got it, I don't think it would have been that bad. But I played in a game where there was 15 players, and I was a player, and I wish I had a phone because I would have just sitting there on my phone, Googling stuff and playing on the phone because it was like 40 minutes. And then my character got 1 attack, and he had a lousy chance to hit. He rolls. You missed. Okay. And then the next guy goes, and 40 minutes later, oh, I go again. Oh, I hit. Because what we did was we made our characters at home. And I didn't cheat. I just rolled it up, and I created that character that's now he's going to be in Heroic Tales #2, Sergeant Stone. And I didn't munchkin. I was like Scout's honor. What I roll is what I get. And he's not that powerful. He's very slow because he's heavy and strong. But if he hits, he can do a good. But everybody else is like, that they munchkin the. Oh, how odd that you got a 45 agility and you got a 45 agility and you got a 52 agility. And I have a 12 agility, and
Right.
agility sets how many actions you do in a round. So I went once and it sucked. How could you be an elder god? How can you be an elder god? Yeah, it's just a term, I guess.
Well, I think also elder gods are gods that existed before the gods previously. It's the gods of
Right.
gods.
Yeah, like Kronos is elder to Zeus, so he's an elder god, right?
And Gaia is elder to
1990. Oh, look at the water. I know Jimmy had a flood in his basement at one point, so this must have been in the flood. I don't think there's going to be too many pictures of the catacomb guide.
No, but these books were amazing. These were some of my favorite books as a DM. I loved the more you gave me, the more I loved it. I didn't care about pictures. I wanted data. I wanted information. It just helped me build my world. You know what I mean?
Like I said, oh, look at that. That's cool. I data mined these books,
Yep.
That's cool. That's cool. I have that globe. I have that globe right away. It opens up and there's booze in it and everything.
Oh, nice.
I've always wanted one. Like as a kid, I made a joke like, you made it when you have one of those globes that open up and it's glasses and booze. So, once I got this house, I fixed everything up. I was like, and now it's time for the globe that opens up with the booze. And my sister's like, you made it. You finally, you know what I mean? It was like something I always said I wanted to do. Dragon Magazine, number 222. Look at this, $3.95, cheaper than a comic book. And look how thick this is.
Yeah. John, I'm going to answer Garfield's question from earlier. I think 4.
Oh, 4. How many players? Okay.
Yeah. 4 is key. 6 if they're all experienced. If they're not experienced, don't go more than 4.
3 or 4 is to me the best.
Yep.
But me and Jimmy just played. He was the only character. I used to think Norse mythology came from Greeks heading north. I know it was the other way around. I think it was the this term is out of favor these days, but it was the Aryans from like central Russia that came, because all the god names are similar. Like they had Deus Putar, and when it went to India, it pretty much it stayed as Deus Putar, but when it went to Greece, it became Zeus, father, and when it went to Rome, it became Jupiter, and then goes up to it becomes All Father Odin.
Yep, and you got to think, as the Anglos went, not Anglos, but when the Aryans, when they left the Caucasus and they came through, the Wales is before Norway and Germany and all that. Odin down there is Woden.
Right.
And then you go up further and it's the Odin, and you got the Donner and the Thor and the different names. So yeah, the names travel and they change slightly, and the further you go, the more time passes, the more the names change.
So my favorite D&D monster was the Displacer Beast. Yeah, it's
Rust Monster.
Not in favorite order, but my top monsters are Mind Flayers, Drow Elves, Displacer Beasts, and then Umbra Hulks. Those are some of my favorites. I freaking love them. I think my players are like, not with the Displacer Beast, Drow Elves. I was real tempted today to have Drow Elves in the Undercity, but I noped out.
You bit your tongue on it a little.
It was like a cave. It was ogres and a cyclops and Ettencaps, basically like spider men. And it was funny because they surrounded Jimmy's party. Well, he was playing Rose, the 15-year-old girl, and then her brother was protecting her, and then the brother who owns the pub had 3 bodyguards with them, and they were going through like, we gotta, and they just came down in the darkness, and their lantern is going out, and none of them know magic, so they were getting pretty scared, and they were like, what can we take for a toll? Like, we could take one of you, we require blood to eat, and we lay our eggs in the blood, blah blah blah. So they were offering money. They're like, what do we need money for? We and like weapons. They're like, there's so much iron down here. There's so much. We don't need metal. They were like offering clothes, like we spin webs, fine as silks. We don't need any. So offer us something that we can't find down here. So Jimmy's character could sing. He goes, how about a song? And they're like, what's a song? They didn't know. So Jimmy's character sings, we roll the dice, and he did this like critical hit as far as a song. So they were like, that we couldn't get down here, and they went back up to the ceiling. So Jimmy was proud of himself for coming. I thought they were going to fight the spider people.
Yeah, that's a better route. When it comes to monsters, though, I have always had a soft spot for any of the monsters you found in those bags of generic monster you got for 99 cents.
Yeah,
that rust monster, the boule, all the various dinosaurs. Yeah, there were some cool little things in there. So I have a weak spot. I always throw them in my campaigns.
It's funny because I found the boule. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, the boule or the bullet.
The job that I was just on, there was one just in the basement of the building, just laying on the ground, all dirty. Yeah, little, like soft rubber.
That's cool.
So I cleaned it up and brought it home, and I put it on top of the refrigerator. And I'm at work the next day. My wife goes, "What is this?" Like, she sends me a message, and I'm like, "What did I do wrong?" I'm trying to think. And she sends me a picture of it. I'm like, "Oh, it's a little monster. It's a land shark from Dungeons & Dragons." She goes, "What is it?" I said, "I just found it at work. Cleaned it up." It's like, okay, it's just weird. I don't know why it bothered you so much.
Like if it was a Jerusalem cricket or something, so totally something hideous.
Okay, these are players. I was like, what is a Vlad Taltos? But it's a guy's name. Okay, 11th level male human assassin thief.
If I was ever to play D&D again, right?
Yeah, this is boring.
It would have to be second or advanced or second.
Oh, look at this. Paladin in Hell.
Best place is Paladin to spend his weekend.
This is awesome. Look at that. A Paladin in Hell. This is from that awesome, from the Monster Manual. Yeah, Monty Cook. So this is an old module. What year is this? I can't see the year.
That's AD&D, I would think.
Yeah, this is Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. So
84?
I don't see any date. Usually
maybe a little bit earlier, maybe 82.
I don't know, but look at this. Look at this. This is so cool. I love this.
AD&D preceded second ed, right?
No, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, and then Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Second Edition. So this is before Second Edition. Yeah. Second Edition is where I was done. I bought all the books, but I played Second Edition a lot, but I played mostly this edition. This is cool. Look at this.
It's kind of easy to convert it too.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any of those old modules, go from advanced to second ed. It's pretty easy to convert.
Look at that.
That's the demon god. I forget what plane of hell that she rules over.
If I ever tell my story about hell and where hell is literally located and the geography of hell, I hope I tell that story someday. Second edition character record sheets. I literally have never seen this. I always made up my own character sheets. I never bought pre-made character sheets. I think my Magnus Opus was my sorcerer character, Claudius Octavio. He started out as a scam artist who conned people and eventually created his own religion called Claudiology. It was hilarious. See, I never leaned for like the funny characters. My friend Jimmy's character, his superhero character, started out as a holistic medicine doctor because he couldn't get into real medical school. Mm-hmm. So he was like this close to being a scam artist doctor, and then he found out stuff about his lineage and he learned secrets, and then he was on the path to becoming a magician. So he's my Doctor Strange. He's a superhero spellcaster. He ended up becoming the metaphysician, and he'll debut in the other comic that for somebody else that I'm working on, and we played in real time 5 or 6 years of a superhero becoming Doctor Strange, and he couldn't cast a spell. You know, he was learning magic systems, and he loves it. I wouldn't have done that with anybody else. So let's check out these character sheets.
John, when you were talking about characters that, like if I had any characters with backstory that I wanted to bring in, there was one character that I was hoping the GM would play with the backstory a little bit and just never picked it up. I had a dwarf cleric that that was from another dimension. She was trying to find one of her lost gods. She was actually from Dragonlance. And in the Dragonlance books, Paladine and Takesis disappeared at the end. No more magic. It's gone.
This I love. Little spell books. Keep all your stuff here.
Oh, yeah. Those were necessary for me.
But I just noticed this. Jimmy filled in all of his characters.
Yeah, of course.
So this is all his characters.
Yeah, but I was hoping he would play with the idea of this character, a dwarf priest, trying to find her god, because in this world, Paladine is Bahamut. So she's trying to figure out a way to gain some of his power back to go back into the Dragonlance world to replenish it with magic.
Jim, the half orc. Yeah, these are character sheets. So these are all filled in. So either Jimmy made a whole bunch of NPCs or he was gonna make a bunch of characters. I remember we like all our rules kind of evolved. Like we would play, and then like, you know, so our dungeon master would leave, and then like, hey, why don't you be the dungeon master for a little while, and then I'll be the dungeon master. And we would just give each other treasures, and then the other main dungeon master would come back. Where'd you get this? Well, Arkham was the dungeon master. So after a while, I was just like, no, once you use this character with another dungeon master, you can never use it with me again. And it became like separate worlds, you know. And then it was, you can't make up a character unless I'm here, because everybody happened to have 18s and everything, and you know.
I had a character bribe me with $5 once when we were kids. It's like,
yeah,
if I can get this, I'm like, fine, because we want to go get Mountain Dew and Doritos. The only reason why I took the bribe.
Joe Cavanaugh offered me $10 for a staff of the Magi or something like that. I was like, no.
I'll take the staff of Magi for $10. Here, take $10 if I'm playing a caster.
That was sixth grade. This is
Forgotten Realms. Okay.
Blood Charge.
So this is in the Orient. I think that's what they called their Asian.
Yeah, they had a Kuatoa. No, not that Kuatoa. The art. This is. I mean, it's probably a good book, but if the art's not good, another Dragon magazine, issue 202. Rogues Own the Night. Look at these like cool covers and everything.
Oh yeah, I love looking at the old advertising back then.
Yeah,
I love the old advertising.
Yeah, look at all these magical. I just hate bards. It's like I don't want to play a role playing game and my character just like brings a harp with him everywhere he goes. It's like
I don't mind a bard. I hate modern bards. Everyone plays them as retarded horn dogs.
Right. I would love that. Oh, okay. So you're gonna try to seduce the mind flayer? Okay, you're dead. Now roll up a fighter and be normal.
How can you seduce something into doing something he doesn't even know exists? You know what I mean?
Like, I also feel that there's too many character classes.
You know? Oh yeah, it was much better when it was back a little bit beyond the rock paper scissors style. A little of the like. Was it second ed when you achieved level 20, you could branch off into a master class?
I don't. That's after my
where
time.
warrior can become. Yeah, warrior can become I believe a paladin can become a cavalier. A warrior can become a berserker, and we're talking 30 years back in this mostly air skull. I'm trying to remember. There was one of the games where you could branch out and become a different class later on, but you had to be that class to be able to play the later class.
a couple of like rules. Like I like humans could just progress to infinity level, but elves can't. Like elves,
Yeah, I never got that.
I never abided by that. And also race restrictions for class. No, if I can't be a dwarven paladin, then this ain't a fantasy game. You know,
Right.
just how freaking cool is that? Or like, and then a dwarven wizard. Why can't I be a dwarven wizard?
Yeah,
Like
for the tone.
like you read any mythology, the dwarves are the magical creatures.
Yeah, and even a dwarven warlock is like, yeah, there are dark gods down in those mines
Right.
that can get in one of their heads.
So I got rid of all of the race restrictions and you know,
Do me a favor, go back one page.
sure.
Look at that Destroid. I believe that's
That's
Lang's.
yep, that's him.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what I mean? Where I have these dark shadows of the reflection with metal, how it's really thick. I've adopted that in a lot of my reflections. Even back 30 years ago when I was reading these books.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Modern Bard character syndrome.
It's funny because with not to comment on everything. I guess I'm commenting on everything, but one of the guys was like, because certain people are getting upset with my interview with Chuck Dixon, and somebody she goes that John Longbox has main character syndrome, and I just feel like saying like, you're not the main character in your life,
Yeah.
like so you admit to having NPC syndrome. It's like, I don't know about you, but in my life, sorry Arkham, but I'm the main character in your life. You're the main character. Like, that is the stupidest. Oh, and that is also the insult that with 3 weeks ago that insult didn't exist, and now everybody's tossing it out. uh, I wish I experienced this as I wish I was experienced. Yeah, it makes no sense. Makes no sense. Like, also in my fantasy world, I don't let you be elves because elves know secrets that the humans don't know. You could be a dwarf. Dwarves are basically, you know, compared to an elf, dwarves are mortal. Like, they only live 400 or 500 years old, so they don't have the secret that elves know.
If anybody, like a couple of our we'd switch DMs like you guys do, occasionally me, a guy named Doug, sometimes Robert, and other guys, depending on who we're playing with. Um, we would have, like, if you wanted to play a specific like race that's rare, we'd make you have to roll for it. If you can roll underneath this, you can play that. Like, 5% chance you can play that character. We'll roll 5 or under. If you did it, you can play it. Okay, then no. I thought that was in a way for the character to try to get what they want to do, but most likely it's going to be a no. And if they can do it, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to back it up. Let's play with it. But every player knew I was old school. So if you're going into a human population that hasn't seen a different race in 400 years, they're going to look at you funny as you approach.
Right.
Especially if you're a centaur. Come on.
It's funny. One of my players wanted to be a centaur, and I jokingly said, "You can't be a centaur. This is a fantasy game." And then I was just like, "Okay, but I'm not going to make it easier for you." And it was rough to be a centaur. I mean, first off, in the V&V system, the heavier you are, the more damage you do. So he was like, he could destroy people. Like, if he reared and hit you with his hooves,
Mm-hmm.
he could like just smash you. So, but he was also the main target all the time.
Yep.
He couldn't get into. You're not sleeping in the inn. You're going out in the stable with the horses. You know what I mean? It was
It's all, this sucks.
right. Yeah. Like, okay, you want to be a half orc? First
Oh,
off, there are no half orcs in my world. If you're drop an orc blood, you're full orc. Yeah, and everybody hates you. Like,
that's my class right there, Rangers. I've always drawn Rangers.
like, so in my fantasy, my V&V that my homebrew, there are no character classes. If you want to be a ranger, just take some skills in fighting and learn herb lore. There, you're a ranger. If you want to be a thief, just steal things. Like, thief isn't a class. It's what you do. It's an action.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you want to be if you want to be a wizard who steals things, you're a thief who uses magic. So
It's better than what most players do. Like, just for instance, me playing a ranger. Half the time, you're always tempted to go into 3 levels of warrior so you can get that bonus. And that's what I don't like. I don't like, I'm going to go 2 levels into this or 3 levels into this to get this, 5 levels into this, and go up to level 13 in this. So it's just like, they already planned out how they're doing. I'm like, there's no role playing in that,
That's called munchkining.
Yeah, this is silliness. Or a level 10 or a level 2 druid with 400 hit points as a bear. You're like, that's dumb.
Yeah, a munchkin is a player who just doesn't care about role playing, just wants to get the best numbers. I don't know where the term came from, but it just stuck. And then he met his parents, a stable maiden, and her favorite horse. There you go. Gygax on Geeks. What is this? Nox? Looks like a role-playing game. What do you know? Basic skills for every character. I don't know. This is taking me back. I mean, obviously, I haven't played this stuff, but when I moved to Albuquerque in 1993, and Jimmy kept playing Dungeons. He went back to Dungeons and Dragons, and he met a group who's funny enough. They all live out here now. So Jimmy's old group is now our group that we play with, the Dark Alchemy Limited guys.
Oh, nice.
That I introduced you because I showed him your art, right? Didn't I?
Yeah, I went there and I subbed them. They haven't.
Okay. Yeah, check them out. They're good guys. They live near me, and so he went back to Dungeons and Dragons, and it looks like he bought a lot of D&D stuff that I never saw. So what is this? The New West Palladium books. So this is like futuristic Cowboys and Indians.
No, I think that's riffs.
Riffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is Riff series. I like this. I like this lettering.
Yeah, how they changed it for the Comic Sans for the Old West.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, comments. Garfield says, "Do 5e handbook has trigger warnings." I know.
Oh yeah.
It's funny because this group that fell apart during COVID. I found a D&D consent form online, and the people who made it were serious. I thought it was the funniest thing. So I downloaded it, and it's like, how do you feel about, like, I'm trying to think, like, half races? How do you feel about, whatever, like, race, sex segregated classes, and how do you feel? It's
silly to be asking strangers those questions.
So it's supposed to be you fill it out the first time you play, so the dungeon master will know what triggers you to cater. So I just gave it to everybody as a joke. Like I go, here you go. Like I didn't say anything, and they started filling it out like without laughing or without disgust. I thought they were going to be like, Joe, what is wrong with you? So I like, you don't think this is funny? And I remember this. One of the girls was like, no, this is very helpful. I was like, give me these. I said, if you taking this seriously, what are you, out of your mind?
Right.
Like I was saying to Jimmy, I left out a lot of detail of the adventure that we did tonight because my fantasy world is very dark. It's very, very dark. Like I said, the orcs are from Bone Tomahawk. Forget about demons. The gods aren't so much worshipped as placated.
There's a couple of dark fantasies I absolutely love that know how to do it right. Berserk, of course, if you ever got a chance to read that. Claymore, which is really, really, really good. There's so many of them that I just love. When they're done right, of course. Some dark fantasies are just dark for dark's sake, and it's just like it gets old quick.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about Berserk.
I cannot recommend it higher. It's the art, the writing, the character development. It is as brutal gets without getting into straight up gore porn. Thank God he doesn't go that far, but he does push that hard R really hard. And But I mean, the light and the darkness when it comes through in those books can bring you to tears sometimes. It's so good. I'd recommend, John, if you can find it, not the one you get on Netflix currently. There's a 3-movie DVD set of a Berserk 3-part movie, which takes the whole first chapter. It's called the Golden Age, the Golden Age Saga. It's 3 parts. Each movie is probably about 90 minutes, and the third movie will let you know for sure what you're in for the rest of the series. And if you can't handle the third chapter, don't read the rest.
What do you think of Goblin Slayer? I know a coworker used to watch Goblin Slayer.
It's entertainment. It's fun. It's not nowhere next to Kitaro Miura's work, not in art or writing. But it's a good time for call me for a good time. Demon Slayer and Goblin Slayer.
I'm just happy. Monday I go back to the airport, back to it like a regular schedule, so I'll be able to do like 7 o'clock shows, So I'm happy. So no, like I just been like this week I was like I don't know what time to go to bed, what time to wake up. It was look at that.
I love this picture right here.
This.
Yeah, I remember that picture very fondly. I remember as a kid or a young adult, I was like, I love this picture. That is what you call dragon armor.
Yeah.
Somebody just said something. I missed that.
He said, gore porn and hard R. What is going on here? My friend Jimmy dropped off a bunch of role-playing books, and I'm just looking through them. I figured
we're talking about, I think what he's asking is we're talking about dark fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
There's some people that push it too far just to push it too far, and those aren't any fun. You want to make sure it huddles right around that perfect area, and Berserk does that.
I had an idea for a dark science fiction story, and I asked an artist, "You want to work with me on it?" And he was all into it until I told him the synopsis. He goes, "No, that's too dark for me." So I was like, "All right, that's fine. No hard feelings." I said it's not written yet. I just got excited and I stupidly reached out to somebody. I shouldn't have reached out until at least the story was written.
Yeah, because you never, like, as you know, as you write, I draw, we all do that. We edit as we work a lot of times, so it might not be as dark, or it might even get even darker. Who knows?
Well, maybe I'll tell you about it. Maybe after this story, you'll draw this. After the myth story,
did you see my 2 Space Marines shooting the Tyranids in the dark?
No.
Yeah, I have a drawing of that where it's just the whole picture is lit by the suppressor of the fire, so you can almost see it, as if it's firing.
This I love when they draw these guns.
Those are beautiful.
So my dark sci-fi story. There's no aliens in it. It's just humans. Being horrible, man's inner inhumanity to fellow man. This reminds me of what's the name of that movie with Gary Oldman?
Oh, Fifth Element.
Fifth Element. Man, that movie would be so good if they just edited out that annoying black guy.
Oh, Chris Tucker. Yeah. I don't know. I found him kind of funny, but that gun reminded me. Did you ever see a movie called Kronos?
Kronos.
Yeah, there was this. It was a machine that attached, like a scarab that attached to an old.
Yeah, it was like a Mexican film. It was what's his name?
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
That's what that gun can remind me of. That insectoid carapace kind of look to it.
I love this.
That looks really good.
I
sent you that picture I was telling you about. You can see some of my sci-fi work.
I love the pictures of spaceships and stuff.
Yep.
I love this. Well, look at that. That's
a glitter boy in space.
Yeah. Yep. That's pretty cool. Let's see what we got here. The Complete Ranger's Handbook. Complete Ranger's Handbook.
I think you already got that one, John.
Oh yes. Oh wow, Jimmy has two of them. Oh, cool. So I could give one to her. This is a villain's. This is my game. This is not my game. I don't own it, but this is the game that I still play. And this is the Great Iridium Con. It's a superhero adventure set at a comic convention. But here's the interesting thing. Okay, does the art look familiar?
Yeah.
Does anybody recognize this art?
I want to say Badger. No.
Yeah, that ship did remind me of I love Adventure Horizon. The early Dragon Age video games, your character could be very brutal. The last video game in the series had your character sit down with your companion and her mother while she came out as non-binary. Oh my god! Oh my god! But, okay, so here is the spoiler. Dan Panosian.
Oh, nice.
Dan Panosian, one of the best artists working in comics right now. This is his first published work. And every time I interact with him, I always say, I've been a fan of yours since the Great Iridium Con. And he goes, oh, how embarrassing.
Just give him to sign it just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, the Great Iridium Con. Skyborg. I love looking at the names. Cat, Blaster Bat, Flame Banshee, DM, Androbot. That was the name of the players that went through this. Yep, Dan Panosian. Okay, Ojo, did you guess or are you just repeating what I said? Dan Panosian. But this is Dan Panosian's art. Nightshade. This is Kalas Khan. So this is a guy who has all the powers of a Khan from Star Trek. And he has everybody thinks the plot is like he's gonna hold everybody as hostage for whatever, but everybody thinks he's cosplaying, so nobody. And this girl is Futura, so everybody thinks she's cosplaying, so it's one of the silly modules. I love this character, Yeoman. Yeah.
There's I love silly modules like that. There was one for Beyond the Supernatural where we had to role play two 14-year-old girls, and we had to entertain a deity whose only human existence is from watching TV shows like iCarly and stuff. So we had to entertain a deity before it destroyed the planet. Yeah, we had fun modules, one-offs like that are fun to do. It really tests you. Half the time we were just laughing our ass off trying to play that game.
You could really see the spark that would become Dan Panosian in this artwork. This was a fun adventure. So Dan Panosian artist, Jeff D. Jack Herman editor, Scott Bizarre. So I contacted Scott Bizarre, and he gave me. I kept the email because the guy's notoriously flighty. So I kept the email where he gave me permission to use it. The Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition Book of Artifacts. I don't know, but I don't know about you, but I see 3 orbs on this cover.
Mm-hmm. And there's but only one hand, and that's very disappointing.
1, 2, 3 orbs. Just yep. So I'll throw this out. It's been a while. If anybody wants to commit, I'm not going to stay on too much longer. I'm actually tired. And tomorrow, my wife just said, "What do you want to do? You go back to a regular schedule because, So I was like, I think I want to write tomorrow. I want to get a story finished tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to page 3 tomorrow.
Again, you have no rush.
Yeah, but I'm taking tomorrow off, like I said, just to get the blood pressure down, relax a little bit, and just relax the day and draw.
Good. I don't want to stress you out. I don't want to.
No, that's relieving stress.
Oh, okay. Baba Yaga. Oh, that is creepy looking. Baba Yaga's hut. The book with no end. It's funny. One of the things I made up was the sentient spell. It's a spell that is self-aware. It has a consciousness, and it wants to be cast. And it's in this book that my friends' players locked it away, and they won't cast the spell. And I'm like, every once in a while, the spell will kind of influence them. Just cast me, and they're like, no. So, So that's like a big what's gonna happen? It's been like 18 years of like every once in a while, cast me. Why don't you? No, because usually they give in. They give in. They haven't given to the sentient spell yet.
I'm sure
This
that was back there.
the hand and eye of Vecna. If anybody has watched Stranger Things, the hand and Vecna was a lich who pretty much looked like the creature from Stranger Things.
I like the liches more looking like the crypt keeper. I like my shriveled up liches.
Yeah. I like the last season of Stranger Things. If it ends, I'm satisfied.
No, season 5's already.
I know that it's mostly filmed.
Yeah, this should definitely wrap it. I thought they should have wrapped it up. Although the last season wasn't bad.
The last season was one of the better seasons, but there was a couple of bad seasons. What is this? White Plume Mountain. Return to White Plume Mountain. Oh wow, White Plume Mountain was an old school.
Yes.
D&D.
I believe that's an expensive book, Mijo.
Really?
Yeah.
What year is this? Does it say? 1999. This is expensive?
I think it was like a limited edition.
Mean Locks, the Great Swamp. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind looking it up.
Sure.
Because Jimmy already dropped off a bunch of stuff, and the guys from Dark Alchemy Limited came and took it all. So I was like, I don't care. Black Razor.
Well, $50.
Okay. It's like more of a.
A lot of those old D&D books are worth a pretty penny.
Like what do you sell? Like eBay sucks these days. Like I don't know.
There's a lot of places. Generally, if you do eBay, you go to eBay sold, not what's listed, what sells. Because you can list for anything. Doesn't mean you're going to get it.
Yeah, but I don't want to use eBay. It's too much of a hassle.
I mean, private Craigslist. There's lots of Bartertown, if that's still around. There's a lot of places where you can get.
But
I used to go to called Bartertown and Rogue Trader.
But who rules Bartertown?
Nobody. It's just a public. It's a website where you can do.
It's supposed to say Master Blaster rules.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Tina Turner's just going to get stuck in my head from now on.
This just looks like some sort of. I don't know if this fell out of something, but it looks like a map.
Yeah. Do you know in the books that he dropped off if it had the deities and demigods? The one with Cthulhu and Michael Moorcock?
No, but I have that one already. But
that one's is a little pricey and in good condition. Yeah, because it for old heads like us, we're like that. We want that because we're both Lovecraft and Moorcock fans.
Oh, okay. So this is a okay. The screens. This is a screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I opened this up. It's just charts. Okay. But I don't see the deities and demigods, but I can't see the whole stack. It's kind of dark in here. But we do have Monster Manual 2.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual 2. Yeah. Oh, it's in pretty good shape. Fourth World Comics. I don't know if you could see that, but that's Billy Tucci's and it used to be Peter David's comic book store.
That Deity and Demigods with Cthulhu and Moorcock, 300 in a good condition. If you have one, it's 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. Where's mine? I think mine copy is right over here.
Most of them are pretty beat up. You can still get them for, on average, you'll see them for 100. But, those are going to see spine ticks and some damage.
Yeah. I always love it. Just going quick. I love these, like, moldy type creatures.
Yep. This is probably my favorite Monster Manual I use the most.
like a boggart. Who cares about a boggart or a bodak?
What
Like a lot of this stuff. Who cares?
Okay. This one had, if I remember one, this one had quicklings,
Yeah,
cat lord.
cat lord.
There's a lot of monsters out here I really, really enjoyed using. Fishers, cave fishers, centipede, cheetah, cloaks. God, that's memory lane right there, man.
Right. Yeah. A kushi, an elven dog.
Dude, they're brutal in fifth ed. They're pretty badass in fifth ed.
They are kind of like what's the difference between daemons and demons? You know.
Daemons are, I think, dimension. They're from a different dimension. They're not
Right.
demons because they weren't created through the abyss.
Right.
In order to be a demon, you have to be created through the abyss.
Yeah. On Neo Daemon. Like, yeah, these guys lived in Gehenna, the neutral evil. You know.
The bleed off of hell and the abyss. Yeah. It's just they're the cesspool between the two. It's where all the sewer runs off to.
An Alu Demon.
I always love that Jabba the Hutt looking one.
Which one?
The demon on the page before. Right there.
This one?
Another one to the right.
This one?
Yeah, just that face. Just that.
That one's cool. My wife has messaged me. Just make sure everything's okay. Unless she's just saying goodnight. My wife is not feeling good at all. Okay, she's just sending me a meme. Okay, William Shatner's out of the hospital and he's okay.
Good.
Yeah. Guy's 94 years old. So when I read he was going to the hospital, I was like,
hold on.
Beat me up, Scotty, but I'm glad. Baphomet. Oh, geez, I haven't looked at this since I learned about what Baphomet is. You know, that's funny that he's in a D&D book. Bar Lagora, the Cambion. I always thought this was like cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Chasme, a minor demon, a Dretch. You know, Grazed. Like to me, like when I made up demons for my role playing system, I just made up a generic character sheet, you know, and then like put in a few randomizers. You know, there's really no need for a Nabazu and Kokachal and you know what I mean. So it was like I made like a template, and then you could plug in a few things, and very quickly have a unique demon. Pazuzu.
Pazuzu back then was just a lesser. In modern D&D, he's actually a not an aberrant. What are they called? They're older. They're the oldest evil in Dungeons and Dragons. There's like 5 or 6 that existed. The prime one is called the Gray Lady or the White Lady.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they like predate demons and devils and all that.
Now, do they still have like angels and devils and demons? Because they did away with them in one of the editions.
No, they're back.
Devils, Ammon, Baal, the bearded devil, Belial, Glacia, Hutijin, Mammon, Mephistopheles. Now, I would have had Mephistopheles look like a fly, you know, Lord Moloch. Look at that. You know.
Yeah.
You're saying these names out loud. It's no wonder all the Catholic churches hated Dungeons. Yeah, I apologize to all you old biddies that bothered me back then. How creepy is this that I'm playing a game with Moloch and Mephistopheles? There's no way to explain that.
Right. It's like, you don't understand. They're the bad guys.
Yeah. Dinosaurs. It always bothered me that they didn't draw every one of them.
Right.
How cool are dinosaurs? A Dracolisk. A fairy dragon.
Fairy dragons were so fun.
A giant dragonfly. Dragon horse. That's just so cool looking. Durger. They were like the equivalent of Drow, but they were for dwarves. I separate my religion from my secular entertainment. Yeah, I know, but it's hard to explain that to people. You know, now I realize how lucky I was to have like pretty cool parents. You know,
I explained, like, I sat down my mom and had her listen to some Iron Maiden Metallica, especially like one. She goes, "This sounds like gross," and I was like, "Yes, but it's about the torment this man's going through. It's understanding the horrors of war. That's what the song's supposed to tell you. How vicious and gross and disgusting war can be. And she goes, "Oh, I thought they were like praising that he's in pain." I'm like, "No, they're saying, look how much pain this man's in." Same thing with like Iron Maiden. Every song about the devil, he's a bad guy. He's going to backstab you. Don't trust him. Don't listen to the wizard, you know. Then I had her listen to some, and she's like, "Wow, I did not know." I'm like, "Yeah, because you only hear what you want to hear. You don't actually listen."
Like Grugelek. Grugeleks are wild elves akin to wood elves, but so why make them? Just make wood elves. You know, like this is a differentiation without distinction. Valley elves. Who gives a crap? The elves that live in the valley. You know, why make a whole? This was like my big thing from D&D. Like, who cares? The executioner's hood. A fire friend. A giant firefly. Food creatures. Giant ants. That is just so cool. A frogamuth.
Yep.
I don't know why, but I find that fun.
The first time I ever fought one of those was actually on an abandoned alien ship that was inside of a mountain. I'm trying to remember what campaign that was. And there was a dead Illithid pilot. And one of those was in like a tank, and it was still alive.
Like this Formorian giants. Like I'd never used them because I just hated this picture. But like, and this is like a perfect example of D&D just getting the mythology role. Like the Formorians were like undersea creatures that came into like prehistoric Ireland. You know, like they were like almost like deep ones and Cthulhu creatures. You know, and they stripped all of that lore out and just made them like they're lumpy giants.
Yeah, they're mutants. They mutate. Yay.
Gorgama, the green hag.
Yeah, this is the Gorgama on that picture. That's what I kind of want to try to get away from when I design a new Chimera. I want to get away from that look. You know what I mean? It's been done a billion times. And then if it looks horrible, we just go back to square one, what it looks like.
A kraken.
Ropers. Is that a roper?
This is a camfault.
A
catch.
Oh, that's right. Ropers look like rocks with tentacles. That's right.
I forget who it was, but I think it was a Dragon magazine. They made an adventure, but they used all the crummy creatures from this book. You know, there's a whole bunch of crummy creatures from this book.
I love that book though.
Yeah,
I think it's all the nostalgia books. Every book you pull out from this decade, I think I'm just going to say I love that book because of the memories it brings back and how much joy I had as a kid going through those books.
The Modrons.
Those are incredibly fun to mess with new players because they don't know what to think of them. They have no idea because they are truly alien.
Yeah, what are they from? They're from the plane of lawful neutral.
Are they lawful neutral? I thought they were lawful good.
No, it's
not lawful neutral.
Neutral.
Those in the time ones. There's another race of time ones that do.
I love the Myconids.
I do like that they made a female demon lord of the Myconids. You know how like the oozes and the molds have Jubilex?
Yeah.
I think around third ed they made a demon god for the mushroom people, for the Myconoids. And she's actually a pretty cool design character too.
So planetars are basically angels, right?
Yeah, they're angels. There's quicklings. We actually ended up using those as races, one of the super rare races. And then the player ended up making them OP as crap. I was like, that's why we don't do this.
This was basically a kaiju.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a TKP before TKP was a thing.
Yep.
Was it on a 1920? It was instant death on that thing?
Something like that.
Dead.
Vegapygmy. Yeah. I'm just closing this book because now I got a Jones to look at this. But this was a from White Dwarf, I think it was. It was the Dragon magazine from England, and they just compiled fans made monsters. So these just had like they were just wholly made up, and then they also used a few from mythology and things. But so you could see
Well, the
Jason.
one on the cover right there, that's
Who's Jason Babbitt? Jimmy, how did I end up with Jason Babbitt stuff?
the one on the cover. Those are still Get Yankees. They're still around today.
Yep, they're still around.
I mean, they don't look like that anymore, but that was the first design for the Get Yankee.
Yeah, I love this. Is when Jeff D's art was so good.
Yes.
I told you he threatened to sue me twice.
Why?
Because he's such a jackass. He first time was I was telling you I ran a website, a Villains Vigilantes forum,
Mm-hmm.
and it ran from like 2000 to last year, a couple months ago. We shut it down because every year it was just getting more and more expensive, and so we downloaded all the information, and then it was old. It was old code. So to keep it running, we just kept having to do these patches on it and patches on it and patches on it. And it got to be a lot of work. And less people were interested in Villains and Vigilantes, so
Right.
so and then when I started doing my own comic stuff, I stopped posting on it. So it's my website, and I kind of forgot it. But I kept it going because I was not going through all the old adventures and stuff. And anyway, to make a long story short, about 3 years after I created it, Jeff D's like, oh wow, this is an active Villains Vigilantes website. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it's pretty much the only active Villains Vigilantes website. So he sent me the logo that I could use, and then now I'm using Villains Vigilantes. I made up some crap. I'm not a computer guy, so I just typed something out and used that, and he gave me an official logo and everything, and it was pretty cool. Villains Vigilantes 4. And then he was like, okay, now make me an administrator. I'm like, no. Who are you? I was like, okay, did you pay the fees to keep? At that point, it was like $45 a year. I was like, all right, you want to be an administrator? He's like, what do you mean pay? I'm like, if you want it to be your site, then you pay for it. And he's like, well, then you're not an administrator. I said, you're welcome to post. And he was just like, well, you got my thing. I said, you gave it to me. He goes, take it down. I said, make me. Because I was just being stubborn. He said, I'm going to sue you. I said, go ahead, sue me. I said, Villains Vigilantes has been dead since 1985. I said,
what do you guys see before?
And what I didn't realize is he was starting a lawsuit to because what happened was him and Jeff D were two kids, and they created the game and they brought it to Scott Bizarre, who owned a role playing, a hobby shop called Waterloo in New York.
Mm-hmm.
He brought it to him, and he laid out $30,000 out of his own money to turn it into a game, and created Fantasy Games Unlimited. And since they made Daredevils, they made Bushido, they made a bunch of role playing games, and I forget how it worked, but he owned the game, but they owned like the materials,
Right.
like all the characters and stuff like that. So that worked until it didn't work. And then Scott, I don't know, he's kind of flaky. So he was just like, they're like, yeah, we want to take, but it wasn't selling. But now they see that there's an active, literally at one point I had like 1,000 viewers a day checking out my web. This is like 2005. This is like the height of all message boards and everything. So he's like, yeah, we're going to bring back Villains and Vigilantes. So they brought back like a second edition, and Jeff D's art was just terrible. And the rules that they changed made no sense. And it was like, I'm like, this isn't the same game. So he's like, Scott was just like, yeah, just give me back the original $30,000 that I laid out for the game, and it's yours. And they're like, no. And he's just like, so I remember he was posting, and he said like, we came up with the rules, we came up with this, and I was like, yeah, but you took no risk. I said, you were too. Right. So this was like a big argument on my message board. I said, you were two creative people. I said, but what you did was you took a bunch of loose leaf paper with ideas on it that would have died right then and there. And then here is a person who took money out of his bank account and took a risk on you guys. He's just as much a creator as you are, because without any one of you three, this game wouldn't exist. I said, call him an evil capitalist or whatever, but You didn't get the game. You invented something. I made a role playing game in my basement. I didn't meet a nice guy to give me $30,000 to turn it into a game. I said, so pay him the money you owe him, give him back his risk, walk away. No, so he sued and he lost, but he told everybody he won until somebody who worked for Scott Bazaar found all the legal document and posted it in the forum. And then so he was going to threaten to take down my website. I said, go ahead, sue me. I said, you got no money. You lost this website. I said, and nobody cares about Villains Vigilance except me. I'm the only guy on the planet who still plays this game, and you're pissing me off. And then recently again, what did he threaten to sue me over? I forget. Some other Villains Vigilantes thing. I was like, go ahead. Oh yeah, because I put this. I put the Villains Vigilantes badge on my card. He technically drew that. I was like, yeah, but you don't own it. And Scott Bazaar gave me permission.
Yep.
And I was like, go ahead, Subi. Go ahead. He's such a cock. It's funny, for 20 years, anybody said Jeff D, I go, is a cock.
It's a reflex.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably Google Jeff D cock and find some of my old, messages.
Make sure.
So me fighting with people on the internet goes back for 25 years.
Oh yeah.
Don't bother me.
Back in the Mud days. Did you ever play Mud?
I don't know what multi-user dungeons.
Yep.
Yeah, I never played it, but I know what they are. The cough. My friend Carl was running a game, and he used a lot of lame villains. And this thing jumped out of the, out of a dirty old coffin and startled us. And then it just went, and we just left it. It was a cougher.
He just sits there coughing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in this one, but one of the worst zombies we ran into were Juju zombies.
I don't know if it's in this. I always thought was cool looking. But like
the Death Knight too.
Yeah, the Death Knight. Lolith. Believe it or not, Lolith is a big part of one of my V&V stories. Believe it or not, part of a Western story. But I'd have to change her name and stuff like that if I ever use it. That's I
slightly one or two syllables here or there.
Yeah. This I always loved. This is Bill Willingham's art.
Yep. Prime.
Yep. Draw. How could I not? And it's funny because Gary Gygax said that it's funny. I've only met chaotic good Drow elves. Like if you asked me, I would think that Drow elves were just a chaotic good race because every player plays a rogue who's escaping the horrors of. Because just once I'd like to see a player embrace the evil Drow lifestyle, and play as an evil Drow. But
I played a somewhat evil high elf that was very elf-centric. She was racist.
I used an Ettercap, but they were more spider looking in today's adventure. They look like humanoid spiders. Eye of Fear and Flame.
What's your name? Eye of Fear and Flame. Yeah, but what do I call you? Eye of Fear and Flame.
Like a lot of the stuff, a flump.
They're still around. They've been kept around.
What?
Flail Snail, of course. That's old classic.
A frost man. Like, why?
Yeah.
A Galtrit, Again, that same character that used all the lame creatures. The Galtrits would fly, and they would just touch us with their butts. Yeah. A lot of these are lame. Like a mountain giant. Who cares? What's the difference? Why a mountain giant as opposed to a hill giant or a storm giant or a rock giant? Oh, a mountain giant.
Yeah.
Like Yankee, there we go. They're still around, you said?
Oh, yeah. They're actually quite popular.
Yep. Better a flail snail than a fail snail. Yep. I'm getting real sleepy. A gorilla bear. Like, what's the difference between the Dacron that was at the beginning, do you know the actor George Gobel?
Sounds familiar. Well,
He was in Hollywood Squares, and he was one of those kind of good. But of course, Carl sent one of these after this, and it was George Gorbel. Grimlocks. These were Morlocks.
from Time Machine.
Right. Yeah.
Hook Horrors. Yeah, there's a classic right there.
Hugavas, and then there was Guy, because he was Hugava Guy.
There one who fuck a guy.
Jaculi, Amadin, Kelpies are real mythological creatures. That's funny to say real mythological creatures, but you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
These are cool.
Kenku.
Yeah. I mean, they're just more human looking. They're just more bird looking Tengu, right? The Japanese.
Yeah, Kenku generally also are now, I think, strictly ravens and crows. I don't think they have other bird-like forms. The Arakoa still do. You can be any kind of Arakoa, but I think specifically Kenku are crows and ravens.
And the Kuatoa,
They're still around.
Yeah, they're still. To me, the Kuatoa is their name for deep ones.
Yeah, but stupid. The Kuatoa are dumb.
What is their intelligence? High and up. There you go. A noble Lamea. This just never used. This is just stupid looking.
Silly.
Yeah.
It looks like what's his name? Not Gary Newman. Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah. This picture I've always loved. There's just a story in this. Look at these
It looks like old Kerbert Conan books. Yeah, that's a beautiful picture.
I just love that the sword is not you could just tell he hit that with the sword was heavy and the momentum pushed him back.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so cool. I love this. These lizard people are just the coolest. They're like crocodile people. I love them. Magnesium spirit. I almost without realizing it. If it didn't have a picture, I didn't use it. With the invisible stalker being the exception. Necrophidius. A needle man. A Norker. Who cares? This is the greatest.
Yep.
Penangalan.
That's the one that's based off of Filipino mythology, I believe.
Yeah, something like it's either Brazilian or Filipino, I forget, but it's a female vampire that just pulls its intestines out of the body and uses its hair as wings, and then it needs to soak the intestines in vinegar to get them to stop swelling so they can crawl back into the corpse. It is the most bizarre, awful, horrible thing. So cool though. I never liked. Let's see. Do they have level drain? I never liked level drain. As a DM, I never used level drain.
Yeah, it just kind of slows everything down.
The Kraus? What is that? What do you mean by that? The Kraus. Yeah, level. The thing about level drain is it's so difficult in Dungeons and Dragons to level up, and then it just nullifies all that fun and time. That's not fun. Level drain is just not fun. My work around it is it'll take you experience points, but you're still there. So if say you have 10,000 experience points and that makes you 5th level, you go down to whatever, you lose 500 experience points. You don't use the level. It just takes you a little bit longer to go up. That was an acceptable compromise. Plus, it was just too much work to redo the math and everything like that right in the middle of a fight. Revenant, I always liked. Oh, some Thai folklore monster that sounds like what you described, the Kraus. Oh, cool. Quaggoth. To me, these always looked Australian.
They just look like Ewoks on steroids.
Yeah, they pretty much do. Quippers. Why are these? They're not piranhas. What's the difference?
Yeah.
And then just Quillin. They're just cannibal humans. They're literally just cannibal humans.
There's so many races that are just slight veritables of whatever else they are. Not enough to make a whole different character sheet.
Like skeleton warriors. Like, what's the difference between a skeleton warrior and like a death knight, or you know,
Right.
a sheath phantom? I love the slads.
Slads are awesome.
I love the slads. These are so cool. They're still around in right in the 5th edition. Lord of the Insane, a slad lord. Yorgel, a slad lord. Son of Kios. The Sniffnerl. So they're like the evil gnomes.
All right. Every old man after 90.
This is one of those useless monsters. Terrafeg.
What'd you call me?
You heard me. A giant troll. A giant two-headed troll. An ice troll.
The troll.
Vodianioi. Isn't that what he says in that Billy Idol song? I drink wine, Vodianioi. Drink wine.
I haven't listened to Billy Idol since I think
Yeah.
the last song of his I liked was "Rock the Cradle of Love."
This yellow musk zombie. This is The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the flower zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
What do they call it? Not a myconoid. Cordyceps.
Some Bill Willingham artwork over here. I love Bill Willingham's.
Something beautiful about it. It's timeless. I loved his style. He was.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I've been a fan of Bill Willingham's art since before he made comics. You know, I just love it.
There's some guys I wish would have done comics, like that Lane guy that I showed you earlier. That mech you did.
Yeah,
he's really good too.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go to bed.
I'm gonna go to bed too.
I have a huge stack, so I'll keep going. You know, showing this stuff. I didn't watch any of The Last of Us.
I didn't miss anything.
Billy Idol is a voice actor in Heavy Metal 2000. There you go. Learn something new every day. But thanks a lot, guys. This was just, I wanted to look through this stuff. You know, I was just looking at the big pile over there. I said, I'll go out.
Beautiful stuff to look through, man.
Yeah. If anybody's interested, I'll do. I mean, I literally have a you could still see this. This is just one. I got 2 big stacks more of this stuff.
If you come across any AD&D or second ed D&D stuff you have dupes of and you want to get rid of, let me know.
Sure. All right. Good night, everybody. So I'll see you. Bye, kids.
What?
Goodbye, kids.